Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Awakens the Rinnegan, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Fire Country, Konoha Hospital. Naruto groaned as the morning sun shone through the open window. He sat up with another groan and rubbed his tired eyes before checking his surroundings. The room was white and he knew from experience that it was the hospital. Even if the villagers didn't physically hurt him, he was still an orphan and used to get injured at times. "You're awake, brat. That's good," a voice said from the window and he turned his head swiftly towards it. "Rasengan," Naruto said cheerfully. "What are you doing here?" "To see you, of course. What? Didn't think I'd stop by and see how my student was doing?" Jiraiya asked with mock hurt. Naruto grumbled at that. "I bet you'd rather be off peeking though." Jiraiya grinned but his expression suddenly saddened. "True. But I can't right now. Tell me, what is the last thing you remember, Naruto?" Naruto rested a hand on his head before answering. "I remember that I beat Gaara, but then, it's a blank." "That's when you passed out from exhaustion," Jiraiya told him. "Nice work with the Kuchio's no jutsu, by the way, though I wish you didn't use it in the middle of the stadium. Be glad no one was hurt because you'd be in a cell right now instead of a hospital bed," Jiraiya told him. "Sorry," Naruto said weakly. "Don't worry about it. You got off lucky," said the Gama Sennin. He shook his head before he continued. "That jutsu of yours. What did you call it?" "Shinra Tensei." Naruto nodded at that. "That's easily an S-rank jutsu and an extremely powerful one at that. I have an S-rank jutsu." Hey, believe it," Naruto said with a grin. Jiraiya, however, had other ideas on the matter. "You weren't able to control it properly though. I was watching you at the end. Your gravity manipulation still needs some work." Naruto nodded saddened. "I know." The Gama Sennin sighed at that. "We'll work on that later. Maybe we can work on attracting objects instead of blowing everything away like you've been doing." "Who won, by the way?" Naruto asked, knowing that he couldn't have continued fighting in the condition he was in. "No one. Konoha was almost destroyed right after your match," the Gama Sennin told him. Naruto's eyes widened at that. "What do you mean almost destroyed? What happened?" "Suna and Oto launched a combined attack on Konoha right after your match finished. We won and beat them back before they did too much damage, but there were casualties," Jiraiya said grimly. Who died?" Naruto rarely stuttered, but he couldn't help it. "My former sensei, the Sandaime Hokage," answered the Gama Sennin. "The old man is, damn it." Naruto clenched his fists as images of the man he had thought of as a grandfather flashed through his mind. How did he? He was interrupted swiftly. "It was my traitorous teammate, Orochimaru. He killed Sarutobi-sensei with the aid of his Oto nins," Jiraiya answered, already knowing what he was going to ask. "He'll pay for that," Naruto told him. Jiraiya nodded in understanding. "His time will come, but not right now." "So what do we do now?" Naruto asked, wondering where they would go from here. "Well, I'm heading out to find an old friend of mine. Her name's Tsunade. The council wants her to become the Godime Hokage," Jiraiya said with the sigh. "A new Hokage?" Naruto trailed off, not knowing his thoughts on the matter. "I'm also taking you along, Chunin Uzumaki," Jiraiya added with a grin. Naruto's eyes widened at what he had said. "I made Chunin." Jiraiya nodded in confirmation. "You defeated the Suna Jinchuriki before a planned invasion." "Of course you made Chunin, kid." "Thank you," Naruto said with a smile. "You don't have to thank me, kid," the Gama Sennin told him and turned his head towards the door. Knock knock. The door opened slightly and Ino poked her head into the room. "Can we come in?" "Yes. We're done here. I was just leaving anyhow," Jiraiya told her, and she opened the door, revealing the entirety of the Konoha 12 feet as they were dubbed and their sensei. Jiraiya turned his attention back to his student and said over his shoulder, "I'll talk to you later, Naruto. Meet me at the southern gates after the funeral tomorrow." Naruto nodded as he left. "I'll see you then." "Hey Naruto, who was the old guy?" Kiba asked him as he looked at where the old guy had gone. "My new sensei. He's really strong too. He took out a Jonin in one attack and didn't even look like he was trying," Naruto answered, remembering his first encounter with the man. "That was Jiraiya-sama," Asuma stated. "You did great, man. You totally kicked Gaara's ass," Kiba said with barely controlled glee. Yeah, well, I don't think I could have done it without help, Naruto said truthfully. Yeah, what's up with your eyes anyways? I never knew you had a bloodline, Kiba asked the question on everyone's minds. Well, I don't know really, I mean I'm an orphan and I've never known who my parents are, so I don't know how I got it, Naruto answered honestly. Now that I think about it, you don't really talk about yourself much, Naruto, Shikamaru commented, raising some eyebrows from the assembled group. I mean, you always brag about how you're going be Hokage, but I've never once heard you brag about something you've actually done. You didn't even brag about what you did to the Hokage monument a while back, he explained. I don't know what you mean, Naruto said, simply wanting to get off this subject. You're not even bragging about how you beat Gaara and made Chunin, Shikamaru deadpan, stopping whatever anyone was going to say. Why you made Chunin? Ino asked, astonished. Not even Sasuke-kun had made Chunin yet. Yeah, Naruto replied nervously. Congrats man, Kiba said as he patted the bedridden boy. How did you know, Shikamaru? I mean, only Jonin and above know who was promoted, Kurenai asked the young Nara with a knowing smile. Shikamaru sighed, defeated. I heard about it when I found out I was promoted to Chunin also. Ah, really? Ino asked, surprised, though considering the amount of forethought he done in his match against Temari it shouldn't be a surprise. Troublesome, Shikamaru muttered. Let's go celebrate, Kiba said as he stood up straight. Off in the corner, Naruto's teammates Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke each had their own thoughts on the matter. How could the Dobe have gotten so much power? How could he have a dojutsu that was able to defeat Gaara where even my Sharingan wasn't enough? What have I been doing all this time? Were Sasuke's thoughts as he looked on Naruto's smiling face. Sasuke-kun, Sakura thought worriedly as she looked over her crush. The next day the funeral was held for all of the ninja who fell during the Oto invasion, including the kind and strong Sandaime Hokage. It was a tearful ceremony for all who attended it, and even the sky wept for the loss of a great man. Finally it ended, however, and the sky cleared as everyone slowly left. Naruto reached the southern gates of the village and came across a rather unusual sight. Jiraiya was standing next to a girl, a 13-year-old girl to be precise. Hey Ero Sennin, I didn't take you for a pedophile. I thought that was the heavy team's area, Naruto said with a grin. Jiraiya looked indignant at that. I am not a pedophile, brat. This little missy right here is from Kumo, she's going to be coming with us. Naruto stared at her for a few seconds before asking, why? Apparently she's the new ambassador to Konoha, the Gama Sennin explained. Again why? Naruto asked, not understanding. The girl looked annoyed at this, though when Jiraiya saw the look on her face he almost mistook her for a miniature Tsunade. Her long blonde hair hung around her head and was tucked out of the way of her face. She wore a dark purple outfit which surprisingly fit her perfectly, and if he were to be honest with himself, if she put on Tsunade's cloth she would look just like the woman, only younger. Do you have a problem with this? It's not like I want to be here, idiot, the girl grumbled. What did you call me? Naruto said as he narrowed his eyes. I called you an idiot, why? What are you going to do about it? The Kumo Chunin asked with a grin. Before Naruto could retort, however, Jiraiya spoke up. She's also the Raikage's granddaughter. Her name is Yotsuki ni Yugito. Yugito looked smug for a second as she thought, now that he's heard who I'm related to he'll act just like the rest. Naruto paused for a second before he scowled. I don't care if she's his grandmother. She shouldn't be here. I thought it was just going to be the two of us, Jiraiya-sensei. Yugito's eyes widened in surprise at what he had said. What did he just? Jiraiya shook his head and turned to leave. Sorry brat, but she's coming with us. Damn it. Like things can't get worse, Naruto grumbled as he followed. Hey, wait up. Yugito called after them. After a good half a day walking, the three stopped to set up camp for the night. Or should I say Jiraiya and Naruto were setting up camp. Yugito had disappeared an hour earlier. I thought you were going to teach me a new jutsu, not walk all day, Naruto grumbled under his breath as he tried to get a campfire started. Naruto, come here, Jiraiya spoke up from the trees. Naruto moved, followed his sensei into the trees and eventually came across what looked like rocks. Giant boulders littered the clearing, all of which looked like they had all been cut pretty deeply. What is this? Naruto asked. This is all the work of our new friend Yugito-san, Jiraiya told him seriously and nodded his head towards where said Kunoiki lay unconscious. She passed out from exhaustion a few minutes ago, he explained. She's strong, Naruto muttered as he surveyed the damage. Yes, she is. She's the Nibi Jinchuriki, Jiraiya stated. You've mentioned that word before. What does Jinchuriki mean? Naruto asked, having never heard the word before. It literally means power of the human sacrifice, but it really is a classification. It usually applies to those that have demons sealed inside of them, like you, answered the Gama Sennin. Right, Naruto whispered weakly. So she's just like me? He asked. Jiraiya nodded before saying, yes she is. I'm going to teach you 2 jutsus, both of them are a rank jutsus. You're going to teach me now? Asked the Konoha Chunin. Jiraiya nodded again. I also want you to work on trying to reverse your control on gravity. Try to attract objects instead of blasting them away. The first jutsu I'm going to teach you is a jutsu created by my former student. He wanted you to have it and I hear Kakashi was planning on teaching it to you when you made Chunin anyway, so this works out perfectly. Who wanted me to have it? Naruto asked, confused. My former student, the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato, replied the Gama Sennin. Naruto's eyes widened at that. He wanted me to. Watch carefully, Jiraiya told him as he held out his hand and started to spin a large amount of chakra in its palm. It became visible within moments and condensed into a perfect ball of power. A moment later he slammed it into a tree, causing it to explode outwards, destroying the tree and sending shockwaves behind it. This jutsu is called the Rasengan. Cool, was all Naruto could say. It is extremely difficult to learn, however. It took the Yondaime 3 years to create and I myself took a year to learn it. Do not be surprised if you are unable to master it straight away, Jiraiya told. Naruto just grinned. I'll have it done in a month. That's a promise. Are you serious? Jiraiya asked with a raised eyebrow. He grinned when he saw his apprentice nod. Good luck then. What's the other jutsu you're going to teach me? Naruto asked him, hoping for another powerful one like the last. Jiraiya trailed off as his eyes hardened. I wasn't really planning on teaching you this one, but with another Jinchuriki on this mission I can't help but want to be prepared for anything, so he made several hand seals and held out his left hand. Gogyo Fuin, he spoke as his 5 fingertips were engulfed in purple flames with kanji visible on them. This jutsu was specifically designed to disable Jinchuriki. If it is applied to a Jinchuriki's seal, then their Biju's power will be closed off to them, the Gama Sennin explained. So you're teaching me this one because, Naruto trailed off as he looked over at Yugito's unconscious form. It's just a precaution, just in case she decides to try something, Jiraiya told him. He then walked over to the girl and picked her up. Come on. We should get back to camp. Right. Naruto nodded in understanding and followed his sensei, but he couldn't stop taking his eyes off of the girl's sleeping face. She's cute, what the hell am I saying? I like Sakura-chan, don't I? Fire Country, Shukuba Town. It had been 2 weeks since they had left Konoha and they had made a stop at a town 10 kilometers from Konoha. Currently Jiraiya was off somewhere in the town contacting his spy network, though Naruto and Yugito just thought he was off peeping again. Speaking of our 2 favorite blondes, they both were currently in the hotel room they had booked and discussing the Suna assault on Konoha 2 weeks ago among other things. Wait, you saw me beat Gaara? Naruto asked the Kumo-nin from his position on the bed. Yugito nodded. Yeah, I saw it. You were reckless and downright stupid for summoning Gamabunta of all things to fight in a Chunin exam stadium. You're just lucky no one was hurt by your attacks, or his. Don't I know it? Naruto muttered darkly. Yugito just stared at him for a few seconds before turning away, though. You did look kinda cool out there. Really? Naruto looked up surprised. Yugito just snorted at his tone. Don't let it go to your head, idiot. What about you? Naruto asked and laughed nervously. I mean, Ero Sennin said you were like me and Gaara, he continued. There's not much to say really, I'm an only child. My parents are long dead and my grandfather and granduncle have raised me since I was 6, Yugito answered. No, I meant about the whole Jin, I can't remember what it is again. Naruto groaned in annoyance, unable to find the right word. Jinchuriki, Yugito corrected him. Yeah, that, I mean from what I saw of Gaara. He was brought up to be a weapon for his village. I was used to stop a demon from destroying my home. What about you? Naruto asked, curious. Yugito laughed bitterly for a moment. Me. My parents had a lot of enemies, so my father decided to give me a weapon of sorts to defend myself. He knew I wouldn't survive long since I was their daughter, so he sacrificed himself to give me the power needed to fight on. Naruto smiled sadly at that. He must have cared for you a lot then. But I never even got the chance to meet him, Yugito muttered. Hey, he said, getting her attention. At least you know why you were chosen and you know your parents loved you. That's what matters, Naruto told her. Yugito was about to respond when. Knock knock. ... There was a knock on the door. Rasengan can't have been rejected already, Naruto grumbled, standing up. He stopped suddenly however and stared at the door. Rinnegan. Is something wrong, idiot? Yugito asked in annoyance. Naruto took a step back. Either my Rinnegan is acting funny or something's wrong here. What do you mean? Yugito asked, seeing that he had his eyes activated. According to my eyes, Sasuke is on the other side of the door, Naruto told her as he saw the two chakra networks. Your teammate. Here. Why? Yugito asked, confused. That's the problem. From what I'm seeing, this Gui's a lot bigger than the Sasuke I know. Whoever's on the other side of that door is not Sasuke, Naruto responded. Knock knock. Well, whoever it is, I don't think they're leaving anytime soon, Yugito said as she slowly approached the door and drew a kunai. She opened the door slowly and took a step back at who she found standing there. Oh no. So these are the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune and the Nibi no Nekomata. I expected more from them, said a tall blue-skinned man who looked similar to a shark and had a massive zanpato. He looks just like Sasuke. Naruto trailed off as he looked to two over. Yugito tensed and said, I recognize them from the bingo book. They're S-rank criminals. The blue one is Hoshigaki Kisame. He's a member of the 7 shinobi swordsmen of the Hidden Mist and said to be the second strongest of them all. The other though, he's a Nukanen from Konoha. He's the man who slaughtered the Uchiha clan in a single night, Uchiha Itachi. Naruto's eyes widened at that. Uchiha. You will both have to come with us, Naruto-kun, Yugito-chan, Itachi said in monotone. That's not happening, Yugito growled at him. I'll just cut off their legs so they can't escape, Kisame said, stepping forward and bring his sword down on where Yugito was standing. Come here, girlie, he grinned like a shark. Keizuki, Yugito whispered, and her right arm appeared to ignite in pure red flames. Her arm connected with the large Zanpato and the two set themselves into a deadlock. Yugito winced slightly as she could feel her hand being melted by her own jutsu. She knew she couldn't hold it for long, but she had to try. That's when she noticed her chakra was being drained by Kisame's sword. My chakra. She trailed off as she struggled to hold the swordsman back. Kisame grinned at down her. Hey, now you get it. Same had a here absorbs chakra. It's the best weapon for fighting you demons. Naruto made the hand seal he was most familiar with, and 3 shadow clones popped into existence beside him. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Immediately the two of them rushed to attack Kisame from either side of him, and the third grabbed Yugito by the waist. Without Yugito holding it back, Kisame brought down his sword on where she was standing a moment ago and then in one swift move shredded the 2 clones that were attacking him. Fast little bugger, Kisame said with a grin as Naruto and Yugito now stood at the far side of the room near the window. Are you alright? Naruto asked, not taking his eyes off of Itachi, who still hadn't moved since they had first met. It's nothing, Yugito said, referring to her now burned right arm. She was currently healing the damage with medical ninjutsu to help thing along. Just give me a minute. Done, Naruto said and thrust out his hand towards the 2 Nukanens. Shinra Tensei. He called out, and with a massive blast of gravity both of the Nukanens, the door and a section of the wall were blown free of where they stood. Did I get them? Naruto asked as the dust began to clear. Not a chance, Yugito grumbled as she saw the dust clear and the other side of the building could be seen. Notice that I said other side of the building, meaning Naruto's last attack blasted open a good section of the building itself, leaving nothing but rubble on the second story of the complex. After a moment of silence, 2 sections of the rubble shifted upwards as Itachi and Kisame emerged relatively unharmed. No, not unharmed. They didn't even look they were phased by that last attack. On the contrary, Kisame was openly grinning. Not bad, brats, so you got the Rinnegan. Now that is a surprise, said the swordsman as he shouldered his weapon. Itachi's Sharingan was now spinning wildly as he spoke. I had heard the tales about you having it, and I saw your eyes when I first saw you, but I didn't think anything of it. Well damn, Naruto muttered bitterly as the sun shone through the open area. We could be in trouble here, Yugito commented, for the first time thinking they had bit off more than they could chew. Just then, however, the strangest thing happened. A new presence arrived behind the two Nukanins, a presence that made Itachi takes his eyes off of Naruto. Sasuke, Itachi greeted his brother without looking. Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke spat as Itachi turned to regard him slightly. Who's this twerp? Kisame asked with a grunt. My little brother, the only one I spared during the Uchiha massacre, Itachi answered, appeared bored. Go away Sasuke, you're of no concern to me right now. I have hated and despised you just like you said. Now I will show you my power. Sasuke charged forward as he made several hand seals. Chidori, lightning sparked and encased his hand as he neared Itachi. It all happened in an instant. One moment Sasuke made to stab Itachi and the next Itachi grabbed his wrist and slammed him into the ground, creating a small crater. After the Chidori dissipated, Itachi lifted him up again and threw him into the nearby wall. Why are you still so weak? Is it because you don't have enough hatred? Itachi asked, barely above a whisper though everyone heard it. Why is the gap in our strength still so large? What have been doing all this time? Sasuke asked in thought as he fought down the pain he felt. Mangekyo Sharingan, Itachi whispered as his eyes morphed slightly and he picked Sasuke's beaten body up again. The moment they made eye contact, Itachi whispered one terrifying word, Tsukuyomi. Sasuke's body suddenly convulsed for a few moments before he became motionless and Itachi dropped him to the floor. Kisame chuckled at the sight. Damn Itachi, you're too cruel sometimes. To use that genjutsu on your own brother, damn that's nasty. Itachi didn't respond but instead turned his attention back to the two Chunin. Now where were we? Naruto, we should run, Yugito whispered to him. Naruto shook his head. Not without Sasuke. Kisame, get them, Itachi ordered and the swordsman nodded with a grin. Just as he was about to move, however, a voice called out, Kuchiyos, Gamaguchi Shibari. Suddenly they were all enveloped in some kind of corridor made of red flesh. Kisame looked around and asked, what is this? My jutsu, a voice stated. Turning, everyone saw Jiraiya in a crouched position next to the unconscious Sasuke. Naruto, Yugito, don't move. I'll handle this, he told his two companions. Rasengan, Naruto sighed in relief. Jiraiya of the Sannin, Itachi said in monotone as he gazed at the man. No wonder Kakashi knew who we were and why we went to Konoha. He must have gotten that information from you, he mused. Jiraiya was uncharacteristically serious as he stood up straight and stared at the two Nukanins. So you really are after Naruto and Yugito? Itachi simply stared at him. To capture all of the 9. That is the order given to us by our organization, Akatsuki. The two Chunin tensed, knowing that the term 9 most likely meant the 9-tailed beasts. We have been sent to capture them. Too bad for you, you're not getting your hands on them, Jiraiya said with an edge to his voice. Itachi didn't respond but instead turned to his partner. Come Kisame. We are leaving. His partner nodded and the two took off down the corridor. Not so fast, Jiraiya said as he poured chakra into the ground, causing the walls, where the Akatsuki agents had fled, to collapse in hopes of crushing the two. After a few moments of silence there was a small whisper which echoed through the corridors, Amaterasu. What followed was the sound of a mighty explosion and then, silence. Jiraiya suddenly dashed forward and turned the corner only to see that part of large mountain toad he had summoned was blown out and black flames were covering parts of the hole's edge. Damn. They got away, the Gama Sennin muttered as he released his jutsu and the corridor along with the entire building returned to normal. The black flames were still there and so he approached them while pulling out a sealing scroll. This should do it. He laid the scroll out and after writing something on the scroll said, Fukahoin. The flames were suddenly pulled into the scroll and disappeared. I don't know what that was but I will find out. Who were those guys, Rasengan? Naruto asked as he laid Sasuke up against the wall. They said they were after the 9, they were referring to the Biju, right? Yugito asked him. Jiraiya nodded in response, that's right. I don't know what they want the Biju for but it can't be for anything good. So let's go deal with them, Naruto said with his Rinnegan activated. If they want us then I want to see them try, he said with an edge to his voice. Jiraiya shook his head, you wouldn't stand a chance against even one of them as you are now. Then what do we do then? Just sit around and wait for them to capture us? Naruto incredulously. The Gama Sennin just snorted at that. What do you do? Hey, that's simple really, get stronger so you can fight then yourselves. Naruto took a step back for a moment and nodded, fine. Hey, Yugito said, getting their attention. She was currently sitting over where Sasuke lay with her hands glowing green. For some reason nothing I'm trying is working on this guy. Any idea what kind of jutsu that was Itachi used on him? Jiraiya shook his head in response. It's probably something to do with the Mangekyo Sharingan. The what? Naruto looked up, unfamiliar with the term. The Mangekyo Sharingan is the final stage of the Sharingan and is extremely powerful. I don't know what its full capabilities are, but I do know that the last Mangekyo Sharingan user became the head of the Uchiha clan back during the reign of the Shodaime Hokage, Jiraiya explained. Yugito snorted at that. You forgot to mention the guy turned into a madman and tried to kill Shodaime Hokage at the Valley of the End. Quote. Jiraiya remained silent at that but nodded anyway. How many of those losers are there exactly? Naruto asked, looking out at the hole Itachi had created. Quote. 9. Jiraiya answered finally. 9. Yugito's eyes widened. Jiraiya nodded. There would be 10, but Orochimaru is no longer a member of that organization. The heavy team was a member. Naruto's question was barely above a whisper, yet filled with so much anger it was almost terrifying. He was until he defected from it in order to start his own little hidden village somewhere in Rice Country, the Gama Sennin replied. Quote. Sasuke will be alright, won't he? Naruto asked, looking down at his comatose teammate. Jiraiya sighed. Physically he'll be fine. It's his mentality I'm worried about. I'll inform Kakashi about it later, so don't worry. He tensed suddenly and spun round to where the hole in the wall was and saw a green blur appear before him. Guy. Jiraiya narrowly evaded the kick that was aimed for his head and the green-clad John and stopped his assault when he saw who it was. What the hell are you doing? Oh, sorry. I thought you were the enemy for a second there. Guy apologized and looked the area over. He took notice of the wall that was blown out and asked, was I too late? It's more like I was too late, Jiraiya said as he gestured towards the unmoving form of Sasuke. Guy looked the young Uchiha over and narrowed his eyes. I believe this is the same jutsu that was used on Kakashi earlier today. He's bedridden and we can't seem to wake him up. Kakashi was also attacked, huh? Jiraiya mused darkly. All the more reason to find Tsunade, he said, turning away. Guy, can you take the Uchiha back to Konoha? We still have a mission to do and we can't delay it, he asked. Guy nodded and picked up Sasuke. I'll head back now. Good luck. Jiraiya nodded. We're going to need it. Fire Country, Tanzaku Town. Quote. This is new, Jiraiya said finally as he looked towards the destroyed palace. You don't say, Yugito's voice was dripping with sarcasm. Jiraiya ignored her however and saw that there were people running away from the destroyed in every direct. Hey, he called out towards one of them that ran past. What happened here? He asked. The man looked to be panicking but managed to calm himself long enough to reply, you should all get out of here too. There are monsters up there. Monsters? Naruto asked. The man nodded. A giant snake just destroyed the palace in an instant. A giant snake. Naruto trailed off as his eyes flashed gray for a second. How big was this snake? Yugito asked, curious. Huge. The man answered before he started running again. The heavy team is here, Naruto growled out. Jiraiya nodded. It would appear so. I shouldn't be surprised. After all, Sarutobi-sensei did a number on him. Of course he would come to the only medic in the elemental countries who could actually heal him. I'm going to kill him, Naruto said simply. Not as you are now. He's up there with Itachi and I. Even with the Rinnegan there's no way you can take him on, Jiraiya responded. Not normally. But you did say he's weakened right now, Naruto pointed out. Jiraiya nodded at that and turned away. That may be true, but if anyone will fight him here it's going to be me. Hey you two, Yugito said, getting their attention. Her hands were in a seal as she spoke. I can sense 2 chakra signatures above civilian level just north of here. I think the larger of the two is Tsunade-sama. You're a sensory type? Jiraiya asked, intrigued, and she nodded. A what? Naruto asked. A sensory type is someone who can locate and recognize other people's chakra signatures, Jiraiya explained and started walking. Come on, let's go meet Tsunade. It looks like we missed the party, Jiraiya commented as the three jumped down into the destroyed street near the demolished building. The wall nearby was cracked and looked like it would collapse at any moment. Did the heavy team do this? Naruto asked as he looked at the cracks along the wall. Jiraiya shook his head. I don't believe so. I think this is the work of Tsunade. She probably lost her temper again. Yugito looked around and shook her head. I can't track them. There's too much chakra in the area now, not sure what from though. Quote. Jiraiya remained silent as he surveyed the area. Well, let's go look for them. I mean, they have to be around here somewhere, right? Naruto suggested as he looked over his shoulder at them. They're still in town, but I can't pinpoint their exact location, Yugito told the two. Jiraiya nodded at that. Alright, let's ask around, maybe someone has seen her. Night settled across the land as the moon's gaze illuminated the sky. Its deceiving rays bore down on the town as silence began to reign with only the bars open at this time. In one of those establishments were two kunoichi. One looked to be in her mid-20s and was dressed in black. She appeared to be holding a pig. No one in the bar seemed to mind though. The blonde kunoichi beside her, however, was a little different. She appeared to be in her early 20s, but there was just something about her that didn't seem right. Her cheeks were red as she downed another bottle of sake in a matter of seconds. Tsunade-sama, the dark-haired woman to her side, thought as she looked at her. You know, she might have skipped town after running into that snake freak, a girl's voice suggested as three figures walked into the bar. Somehow I doubt that. She's probably still here somewhere. Either way, let's get something to eat. You two must be starving, a gruff voice said. This is a bar, Rasengan, a boy's voice deadpanned. Just then the adult of the group looked over to where the two were sitting. Well, I'll be damned. Jiraiya, the blonde woman asked, seeing his aged face. Tsunade. His eyes widened slightly in surprise. What the hell are you doing here? She asked him, not sure what else to say. That's Tsunade. She's seriously 50. She doesn't look like it, the blonde boy to the Gama Sennin's side commented. It's probably some jutsu, Yugito suggested. Jiraiya, however, just sighed and shook his head. Of course you would be at a bar. I should have known. He smirked as the three sat down at the other side of the table. To answer your question, we were looking for you. Me. Hey. I've been seeing a lot of familiar faces today, she asked as she picked up another cup of sake. Well, we saw Orochimaru's handiwork outside. He always did go overboard with that kind of thing sometimes. Jiraiya sighed again. He raised an eyebrow as he asked, what did he want from you anyway? Quote. Nothing really, he just stopped by to say hello, replied the Akatsuki Sennin. Now Jiraiya didn't believe that, but he didn't want to push the issue, so he remained quiet. Why were you looking for me anyway? Okay, I'll get straight to the point. The elders of Konoha want you to become the Godime Hokage, Jiraiya explained. Tsunade's eyes widened at that. They want me to what? Become the Godime Hokage? Effective immediately, he told her. If you met Orochimaru, then you know that Sarutobi-sensei was killed by him during the recent attack on Konoha by Oto and Suna, he stated, clearly leaving nothing out. She nodded. So what do you say? Tsunade remained silent for a full 30 seconds before speaking quite clearly. Sorry, but no thanks. I'm not like your last student, Jiraiya. Life is not like money, and to risk it is a fool's errand. Jiraiya's eyes seemed to harden at being reminded of the fate of his last student. You've changed, Tsunade. Time changes people. I mean, look at the old geezer. Look what protecting the village got him. A coffin 6 feet under, just like Namika's Minato. She chuckled darkly at her own words. This is Tsunade of the Sannin. I wonder how long she's been like this for, Yugito mused in thought at hearing the old woman's words. We might as well get out of here, Jiraiya-sensei, before we both do something we might regret, Naruto said with barely controlled anger. Senju Tsunade is dead. All that's left is this, and she's not fit to become Hokage, he finished. Tsunade looked over at him with narrowed eyes. I am the granddaughter of the Shodime Hokage and the grandniece of the Nadime Hokage. I'm more than fit to run that little collection of wooden homes. No, you're not, Naruto shot back with a glare. I think someone who can't even save the ones they care about isn't worthy of becoming Hokage. What do you think, Tsunade? He asked with a grin. Her eyes widened at that as she turned her gaze on Jiraiya, who looked on impassively. Ero-sennin told me on the way here what happened to the man you loved, to your little brother, and I will tell you right now. They fought to protect others with their lives. They never gave up even when they died. That's what it means to be Hokage. That's the wall of fire the old man always preached about, and that is something you just don't have. The fire's shadow illuminates the village. Jiraiya mused, remembering how his former student used to say that often. You can sit there all day and moan about what life has done to you. But if you think I'll sit by and let you insult the things that the old man and the Yondaime have done, then I will kick your ass, he snarled as his chakra flared and his eyes turned red. Tsunade just stared at him. Jiraiya, who is this child? The Gamma Sennin just grinned in return. This is Uzumaki Naruto. He's that child, huh? He acts just like her. Almost instantly Tsunade had one leg clamped down on the table as a grin worked its way across her face. How's about we take this outside, brat? It was a simple question. Fine by me, Naruto said back as he stood up from the table. Jiraiya just sighed at that. It's going to be one of those days. That idiot, what the hell is he doing? Is he trying to get himself killed? Yugito asked in thought as Shizune and Jiraiya followed the two. Once out in the street the two stood about 24 feet apart. I must be going senile. I'm taking on a kid, how embarrassing. Let's go wild, Naruto said and made a hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, 5 clones popped into existence beside him. He knows the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Not bad, but clones won't help him against me. She held up one finger as the clones charged. She touched the ground and suddenly the ground in front of her split in half in, too easy. She looked up at him as his clones fell into the small gorge she had created and asked, let me ask you something, kid. Why are you so fussed over the Hokages? Naruto just grinned in return, because it's my dream to become Hokage. Her eyes widened at that. I see. Rinnegan. Time slowed for a second as Naruto's eyes changed from the blue-red haze to a darkened gray with several rings around the pupils. Tsunade's eyes widened further upon seeing what had happened to his eyes. Those eyes are, but that's impossible. I mean, the Rinnegan has only ever appeared in. Her eyes narrowed and she shot forward with her hand now cocked into a fist. There's no way he can have those eyes. Shinra Tensei. Those two simple words echoed throughout the street and Tsunade suddenly found herself being blown back by an unseen force. This jutsu is, she thought as she hit the ground. She stood back up a moment later, however, it didn't have the same amount of power or pressure as hers did, but I never thought I would see those eyes again. But I have to wonder, why does he have blonde hair if he's an Uzumaki? I thought it was just a name, but if he has the Rinnegan then I'm wrong. Come on, you old hag. If you can't even beat me, then how are you strong enough to be Hokage? Looks like I was right. You really aren't worthy of the title, Naruto said with a grin. He's intentionally trying to make me angry so that I make a mistake. He's definitely got her unpredictability down right, Tsunade thought, remembering a certain red-headed tomboy. I need to end this now, but to do that I've got to catch her off guard. How? It's not like I can just piss her off like I do everyone else. Maybe the jutsu will help me here, Naruto thought with narrowed eyes as he brought both of his hands together at his side. Here goes nothing. He started channeling chakra to his hands and spinning it around as fast as he could. Come on. Contain it. Compress it. Don't lose control, he continued thinking as he dashed forward. That's the Tsunade thought as her eyes widened in surprise. She got over it quickly, however, and grabbed his wrist right before he landed the attack. That was too close. She smirked at him before slamming his jutsu into the ground at her feet, the Rasengan ha. She looked over at her former teammate and asked, was it you who taught him that jutsu? A bit cruel of you to teach him a jutsu he has no chance of mastering. Actually, I only started him on it 3 weeks ago and he's already reached the 3rd step. It took me months to reach it, Jiraiya waved dismissively. I'd give him about a week, 2 tops before he's got it down completely. Tsunade snorted at that. And what about the Rinnegan, huh? Jiraiya's eyebrow was raised at that. What? Did you really think I wouldn't recognize that dojutsu? The Gamma Sennin just looked on curiously. What do you mean? Tsunade snorted and turned away. I'll tell you later. She turned to Naruto and asked, hey kid. Do you want to make a bet? What kind of bet? The blonde boy asked her. She showed him the necklace that hung at her neck. If you master the Rasengan in a week like the pervert says you can, you'll get this and I will return to Konoha. If you don't, I'll take all of your money and none of you will bother me ever again. Deal. Naruto thought about it for a moment before nodding, all right. A wide grin settled on Tsunade's face. Then I'll see you in a week, kid. That idiot, Yugito sighed at the thought. It's been one of those days, Jiraiya shook his head at the sight. Later that night Naruto had disappeared somewhere without as much as a word. Yugito had gone with him out of sheer boredom and Shizune had gotten them all rooms at the local inn. During the night, however, Jiraiya had asked Tsunade to come out and have a drink with him. She agreed, knowing he wouldn't let it go so easily. So, what did you want to talk about? Tsunade asked as she took a drink. Jiraiya shook his head at the tone. You're still so uptight, Tsunade. Hey, if you must know, I wanted to talk about Naruto. Why did you bring him, Jiraiya? More importantly, why does he have blonde hair if he's an Uzumaki? She asked with narrowed eyes. The Gama Sennin raised an eyebrow at the last question. I brought him to help convince you to return, but as for being an Uzumaki, well, it's his mother's maiden name if I'm not mistaken. All Uzumakis have red hair, Jiraiya. It's always been like that, Tsunade shot back. You don't know. That kid is Minato's brat. He gets his looks from his father. Jiraiya waved his hand dismissively. Tsunade shook her head at that. That explains the hair. I knew those two got together and that Kushina was pregnant, but I didn't know they had a kid. Quote. I have to ask, how did you know he had the Rinnegan? Jiraiya asked curiously. Tsunade just stared at the cup in her hand. Have you heard the tale of the Rikudo Sennin? If you mean the fact that he was the first shinobi and was the man who discovered chakra, then yes, I've heard of him. Supposedly he's nothing but a myth, but since the Rinnegan is real, I guess he is too, Jiraiya replied. Tsunade snorted at him. Of course he was real. Even if he weren't, he is known to just about everyone in the elemental countries. That said, there is something which almost no one knows outside of a select few. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow at her. And what might that be? He had 2 sons. That caught Jiraiya by surprise. You're serious? He asked incredulously. She nodded in reply. The elder brother was gifted with the sage's eyes and became known as Uchiha Tobi. He was the originator of the Uchiha bloodline and thought peace was best achieved with the use of force. The younger brother, however, was gifted with the sage's marvelous chakra and became known as Senju Naruto. He was my ancestor and the man who created the Senju clan. Naruto. As in the same name as the brat? Jiraiya asked, surprised. Tsunade nodded at that. I suppose it's fitting that his name was Naruto considering his beliefs. Unlike his elder brother, he thought peace could be achieved through never giving up and always looking towards the future. On his deathbed, the Rikudo Sennin chose him as his successor over his brother just before he died. In doing so, Uchiha Tobi attacked his little brother out of jealousy and anger. This sparked the conflict between the Uchiha and Senju clans all the way through to the founding of Konoha. That's all well and good, Tsunade, but what does that have to do with Naruto and the Rinnegan? Jiraiya asked, losing patience. I'm getting to that, she shot back. During the clan wars before the shinobi villages were founded, a section of the Senju clan broke off from the main group and wanted to leave in search of a place to call home. They settled on a remote island just off of water country surrounded by hundreds of whirlpools, she explained. Whirlpool country, Jiraiya deduced. Tsunade nodded at that. It was relatively peaceful and out of the way. Soon after, though, a man named Senju Arashi awakened the Rinnegan, which came as a very large surprise to the group. When more of them started activating their own Rinnegans, Arashi founded a clan independent of the Senju, which he named after the country itself. Uzumaki? Jiraiya asked, catching on. Tsunade nodded again. Yes. After the clan wars had ended, the Rinnegan kept appearing in the Uzumaki clan, but not always. Sometimes it skipped a generation and other times it just disappeared. There was one family, though, that it kept appearing in throughout each generation. That family became the royal family of the Whirlpool country. Don't tell me. Arashi's family, right? Jiraiya took the seemingly wild guess. Yes. Uzumaki Arashi was said to have been a great man who unified the entire Whirlpool country and the small neighboring islands. When it was all said and done, his descendants kept on activating their own Rinnegans, Tsunade continued. All the way to the former queen of the Whirlpool country, Uzumaki Kushina, she finished. Jiraiya's eyes narrowed at that. Then Naruto really is the heir to throne. Tsunade snorted at that. He would be if there was a Whirlpool country still around. Jiraiya closed his eyes at that. Yes, I heard about that. The Kyubi no Kitsune destroyed that entire country right before it attacked Fire Country. I never did find out how it got past Water and Lightning countries without anyone noticing, though, Tsunade said darkly. Do you know if anyone survived? Jiraiya asked. Tsunade shook her head at that. No. But then again, this the Kyubi we're talking about. It's said that a single swing of one of its 9 tails can cause a tsunami. I guess they were right. I didn't know Kushina had the Rinnegan. Neither she nor Minato ever told me, Jiraiya said as his eyes closed slightly. Yeah, well, the only reason I knew was because I was Kushina's doctor before she passed on. Tsunade shook her head at the last part. Quote. Well, Naruto had to get from somewhere. Nagato probably got it from the same place, but he didn't even know what it was until I told him about it, like his parents didn't know, Jiraiya mused. Nagato. You mean one of those orphans you took care of back during the war? He nodded at her question. Some of the Uzumaki did settle down back on the mainland, Tsunade told him. You must be right about it slowly dying out in everyone but the royal family, Jiraiya said as he thought of his former red-haired student. Quote. I can only imagine what Orochimaru will do when he finds out you've met us, he mused. Tsunade eyed his for a moment before speaking again. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what he's offered you, Tsunade, to make you hesitate like this, but I don't care. I will tell you right now, if you betray Konoha and everything the Hokages stood for, I will kill you, Jiraiya told her, completely serious. Tsunade just glanced at him for a second but was unable to meet his gaze. I know. The rest of the time they spent drinking in silence, awaiting the battle they both knew was coming. Fire country, forest. You're not going to do it. I told you I will master it. It's an A-rank jutsu designed by the Yondaime Hokage. You physically can't do it in a month. It just can't be done, idiot. Would you shut up and let me concentrate? Quote. Rasengan. There was a resounding boom as he drilled his attack into a tree. It destabilized, however, and just left a spiral in its side. It's still not good enough. Quote. I told you, Yugito sighed. He shot her an annoyed look. Well, what the hell am I supposed to do then, huh? Hey, don't bite my head off, she raised her hands defensively. I'm just saying this is an A-rank jutsu. You can't expect it to be easy, she continued. Quote. Your jutsu is an S-rank 1. That Kazuki of yours is insane, he shot back. You're just jealous, she said with a grin. Whatever, he scoffed and started channeling chakra to his hand again. Rasengan, he drove it into a nearby tree and yet again it lost containment. What is the problem exactly? She asked, getting rather annoyed now. His frustration was building as he answered, I already know how it works and the idea behind, but it takes an insane amount of concentration and control just to reach where I am now. I mean, to reach the next level would require more control than I have. It's like trying to look left and right at the same time. It just can't be done. Quote. That's it. That's what this is about. Yugito asked incredulously and he nodded. Instantly a lightning clone appeared beside her, Rai Bunshin no Jutsu. If you want to look left and right at the same time, then why don't you use clones? Naruto's eyes widened as a grin spread across his face. Yugito, you're a genius. A week later the two were just entering the room they were staying when they felt something wrong. Call it as gut feeling or whatever you want, but it was something in the air that day. Something's wrong, Yugito commented as she opened the door. Hello. We're back, she called out, but no one answered. Rinnegan. Naruto's eyes shifted to his dojutsu and he scanned the room. He instantly identified the figure that lay on the floor. It's Shizune-chan. Yugito was instantly at the unconscious woman's side. Who the hell did this to her? Naruto's eyes were scanning the room but found nothing. Whoever it was is long gone now. From what I can tell, she was hit by a blast of pure chakra in a concentrated stream not unlike those used by Konoha's Hyuga clan, only instead of a precision strike like what they do. This appears to have been done with brute force. I doubt she'll be ready for a fight anytime soon. Can you do anything? He asked as he leaned up against the wall and was peeking out of the window. It's nothing I can't fix, she replied as her hands glowed green. We have company, Naruto stated as he helped Jiraiya into the room through the window. Oh my god, Yugito gasped when she saw the state the man was in. He wasn't injured exactly, but he didn't look to be in any shape to fight at the moment. What happened? Tsunade, he gasped out as the girl tried to heal him. She slipped something into my drink last night and left me at the bar. Leave it to her to use an odorless drug to distort my chakra control. There's nothing I can do about this without any knowledge of the drug. The good news is that it should wear off in about an hour or two, Yugito told him. That's good. Are you going to tell us exactly what is going on now, Shizune? Jiraiya asked as he saw that the woman had regained consciousness. Shizune gulped and nodded. All right, I'll tell you everything. Fire country, plains. You're afraid of blood, aren't you? How about I show you some? I'm going to splatter as much of your blood as I can while keeping you alive. The Otojonin shouted as he dashed forward with a pair of kunai in hand. Tsunade struggled to stand. I can't dodge in time. A sudden large puff of smoke shot from the ground in front of her, effectively blocking them both from view. What? The smoke soon cleared to reveal Jiraiya, Shizune, Naruto and Yugito standing in a firm line between her and the two Oto nins. What are you doing here? Well, it has been a while. Jiraiya, the one in back, said, amused. You're looking as morbid as ever, Orochimaru, the Gama Sennin smirked. Naruto, the Oto Jonin smirked upon seeing him. The Konoha Chunin instantly recognized him, Kabuto. Well, it seems that these two know each other, Jiraiya commented. Why are you fighting with Tsunade Barkan? Naruto asked, not understanding. Not too sharp, are you, Naruto? That's why you'll never be able to beat Sasuke, Kabuto said with a smirk. Naruto's Rinnegan intensified the glare he sent at him. You're a traitor. That's right. I'm a spy for Otokage, he declared. Then everything you did for us in the Chunin exam was nothing but a lie. Naruto gritted his teeth as his fists clenched at his side. I was collecting information on all of you. I discovered some things about you as well. You're different from Sasuke. You don't what it takes to be a shinobi, Kabuto stated. For example, here you're just an out-of-place genin who got lucky at being promoted to Chunin. Sure, I expect something from that demon inside of you, and those eyes of yours caught me off guard, but compared to the Sannin, you're a real disappointment. Right now you're nothing more than a... Are you really buying this shit, Naruto? Yugito interrupted, seemingly annoyed at the Oto nin's words. If he was such a bad shinobi, then how come he beat Gaara at the exam? How did he beat that Hyuga brat? How did he get promoted to Chunin? His record should speak for itself, he finished with a grin. Kabuto glared at her. Shut it, girl. You are. The Raikage's granddaughter, aren't you? Yes, I am, though, like Naruto's. My record speaks for itself too, she said with a cat-like grin crossing her face. You're a Jinchuriki, the Oto Jonin stated when he saw her eyes flash purple. Do you think you can take him? Jiraiya asked the two. We'll be fine. You just worry about the other traitor. Naruto practically spat the last word. Yugito, he said, and the two suddenly dashed forward. The message was clear. I'll line him up and you knock him down. She nodded as 4 clones instantly appeared at his side. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Pathetic, Kabuto smirked. He drew a pair of kunai and slashed the first 2 clones, reducing them into smoke. The other 2 clones came from his side, but he quickly destroyed them too with 2 well-placed chakra strikes to their chests. Chakra no Mesu. His eyes widened in surprise, however, when he felt a shift of heat in the air. The smoke from the clones is blocking my vision. I can't see where they're attacking from. Keizuki, he heard the whisper and immediately shot away from it. Yugito appeared out of the smoke and slashed at him with what appeared to be a flame-covered arm. He narrowly evaded the attack with the blade, cutting cleanly across the front of his vest. He jumped away and was already making hand seals while in midair. I cannot let her get close or I'll be killed. He then took a deep breath and exhaled a large cloud of smoke at him. Kaiten, Kasumi Endu no Jutsu. The cloud suddenly covered over the 2 Chunin, and Yugito's eyes widened as the flames on her suddenly exploded and tried to consume her. Shinra Tensei, the whisper was soon followed by a sudden blast of gravity. The flames were stuffed out instantly as Naruto caught her as she fell. Are you alright? I'll be fine, she winced as she began to heal her now burnt arm. Quote. You know, I've been trying to figure out how a loser like you, someone with absolutely no talent whatsoever, can have that dojutsu. Sadly, no matter what I tried, I couldn't seem to get any information on you from Konoha or anywhere else. It was like you didn't exist, like you weren't even born, and yet you were born. All I managed to find was a name. Uzumaki Kushina. Kabuto watched as both Tsunade and Jiraiya tensed at the name. So you know that name, Jiraiya, Tsunade. I wonder why you haven't told the brat that he's the heir to the Whirlpool country's throne. That got wide eyes from Naruto, Yugito and Shizune. What are you talking about, traitor? Naruto growled as his eyes flashed red for an instant. Uzumaki Kushina was the last queen of the Whirlpool country. When she was pregnant with you, she came to Konoha since it had the best doctors in all of the nations. When she was gone, however, her country came under attack from Kyuubi no Kitsune and the entire place was leveled. She apparently died in childbirth when Kyuubi attacked Konoha, and you were used as a living weapon to stop a demon, the Oto Jonin explained. Living weapon. Actually, the Yondaime chose him as his successor. Jiraiya smirked as he spoke, catching everyone off guard. Namikaze Minato was a man of honor. He wouldn't grab a random child to stop the Kyuubi. He chose Naruto to surpass him in every shape and form. Plain and simple. As for Kushina-chan, well hey she also had the Rinnegan, so of course he got it from her. Everyone but Tsunade was alarmed at the last piece of information. You knew? Naruto asked him over his shoulder. That you were her kid? Yeah. It was pretty obvious since your personality is almost identical to hers, the Gamma Sennin stated. Though I didn't know you were royalty until Tsunade told me, he added. How would she know? Naruto asked, turning his gaze towards the blonde woman. Quote. I'll explain later, Tsunade told him as she struggled to stand. Right. Naruto nodded and turned back towards the two Oto nins. Enough of this farce, Kabuto. Orochimaru smirked as the sleeve on his arm was rolled up to reveal what looked like a summoning seal. Oh shit, Jiraiya growled out after he bit his thumb and started forming hand seals just as Kabuto did the same. Kuchio's no jutsu. The two called out, followed by two large columns of smoke. When the smoke cleared, Orochimaru had summoned two snakes while Jiraiya summoned only a small toad. Gamakichi. Yo. The small toad waved. Damn it, my chakra must be royally screwed up right now, Jiraiya thought with a grimace. Orochimaru chuckled at the sight. There's still no cure for stupidity, Jiraiya. Even for an idiot like you, that's pathetic. Tsunade must have done something to you, Kakukakuku. Pathetic as always. Go fuck yourself, pedophile. I know you've got the whole evil bad guy theme going for you, but you are seriously starting to piss me off, Yugito shot back at him. Kakukaku, little girl, you have no idea who you are messing with. The heavy Sennin chuckled at her obvious attempt to rile him up. And neither do you, she growled back. Kuchio's no jutsu. Naruto called out, surprising everyone as the ground below him erupted in smoke. That took every scrap of Kyuubi's chakra I could muster. Thanks for buying me the time, Yugito, he thought as a large battle toad wielding a large shield and staff blade now stood between the two forces with him, Yugito and Jiraiya standing on its head. Nice job, Naruto. Jiraiya sighed in relief and looked down towards the toad's eyes. Gamaken, it's good to see you again, the Gamma Sennin stated. I wish I could say the same, Jiraiya. What am I doing here exactly? Gamaken asked, slightly nervous. We need you to fight those snakes while we handle the shinobi, Jiraiya explained. Gamaken nodded in understanding. All right, I'll do my best. Leave Orochimaru to me. Shizune, you stick with Tsunade and keep her safe. Naruto and Yugito will handle Four Eyes over there, Jiraiya gave out the orders. But Jiraiya-sama, with your chakra, Shizune began. Even in my weakened state I am the best choice to face him right now, besides his arms are useless so I should be fine, Jiraiya interrupted. Here they come, Naruto said when he saw the two snakes barreling at them. Any time now, Naruto, Yugito said. Shinra Tensei, the two summoned snakes were instantly repelled away from them by an unseen blast of pure gravity. Jiraiya jumped off immediately towards Orochimaru, who had already lunged to intercept him. Kabuto came at the two Chunin as they touched down on solid ground once again. Gamaken went off to deal with the two snakes as Kabuto got within range of the two. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, 5 clones instantly lunged to strike at him. He effortlessly destroyed them, however. Clones are useless here, Naruto-kun. Do you want to run away? You should know when to call it quits and save yourself. You talk too much, Naruto shouted back as his clones were slaughtered. The girl. Kabuto turned swiftly, knowing that the Kumo-nin was the greater threat and prepared to dodge the jutsu he had seen before and was expecting. Reikyu. He was shocked, literally, when a ball of pure lightning slammed into his chest and blew him back into a nearby tree. Shinra Tensei, there was an audible crack as the tree gave way under the violent force of nature and Kabuto's bloodied body fell to the ground. Did we get him? Yugito asked as Naruto fell back to her side. Just then Kabuto stood up seemingly unharmed. No, he appeared to be healing at an accelerated rate. Does that answer your question? Naruto shot back as he stared at the Oto Jonin. A well thought out plan and trick, but nothing more than that. You can't defeat me, Naruto-kun. Just like you can't defeat Sasuke-kun. We will always be stronger than you, Kabuto said with a smirk. Quote. I'm going to kill you, traitor. Nice and slow, Naruto said with a glare. Naruto. Yugito thought as she shot him what would count as a worried glance. He wasn't acting like his normal self since the battle had started. He was talking like he was actually fighting to kill his opponents, and truthfully she believed he would do it too. Let's see about that, Naruto-kun, Kabuto said as a challenge as he pulled out a pair of scrolls. Phewan, Kai, instantly the scrolls went up in smoke and 27 dead people were littered out on the ground. Say hello to the dead for me, Naruto-kun, Shiken no Jutsu, as the group of dead bodies rose to their feet and turned towards the two Chunin. We could be in trouble here, Yugito growled as she took a step back. You monster. How dare you desecrate people's bodies like this? It is all in the pursuit of science, little girl. Surely you must understand that. Kabuto waved off the comment and took a step back. Kill them, he ordered. The army of 27 people shot forward towards the group at speeds that were inhuman. Just as they were about to get within range, Naruto looked down at the ground with his eyes closed. Damn it, we can't escape. Yugito gritted her teeth as her arm was ignited in fire once again. Naruto suddenly brought his hands up in front of him as the group were mere feet away now. Two simple words whispered as the group were blown back at Kabuto's feet with enough force to send dust upwards. Shinra Tensei. A moment later, Naruto collapsed forward and Yugito was forced to catch him. Hey idiot, are you alright? I'll be fine, he said with a grunt. I think I overdid it a little with the control there, but I had no choice, he explained. Hey, it's alright, it was reckless but it's alright, she reassured him and helped him stand again. Quote. Do you think you can get him to stand still for me? I want to try something, he asked her. She nodded unsure. Yeah, but it won't last very long. This guy seems to know a lot about the human body and could probably find a way around my attack in a matter of seconds. Quote. Do it, he told her. Alright, but whatever you're planning better be good or we're both dead, she said and made a hand seal. Rai Bunshin no Jutsu. Almost instantly 7 lightning clones appeared at her side and charged forward with her. Shadow clones aren't going to work her, Kabuto thought with a grin and made to destroy them like he did to Naruto's clones. Chakra no Mesu, he said as his hands were engulfed in blue chakra. He cut straight through the clones but was surprised when they produced electricity and delivered a massive shock to his nervous system. Damn it, I can't move. Alright Naruto, you're up. Yugito called out as she jumped out of the way. Hey Abakan, Naruto said over his shoulder, getting the woman's attention. Get ready to pay up on your bet. His hands settled into a familiar seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, a single clone popped into existence beside him as he held out his hand towards the unmoving Kabuto. Bansho Tenon, the Oto Nin, was surprised when he suddenly felt himself being pulled towards Naruto instead of away from him. I can't move, Kabuto thought in fright as he approached. There was a distinct whiz as air seemed to spin in Naruto's hand. It was chakra actually. Completely chakra and nothing else. When he was within range, Naruto thrust out with the small ball of spinning chakra and slammed it dead center in Kabuto's midsection. He howled in pain from the impact before being blown back, spinning violently. He slammed into the nearby boulder with a monstrous explosion of power before it shattered under the strain. Rasengan, Naruto whispered its name as he took a step back to take a look at his handiwork. Why, you did it, Tsunade stuttered in shock. You actually managed to master the Rasengan in only 1 week, she couldn't believe it. You used a shadow clone to fuse the chakra into it and spin it while you yourself contained it, Yugito said with a wide grin. Well, you did say if you want to look left and right at the same time, then clones are the best way, he shot back with a grin of his own. After making sure Kabuto was down, he promptly turned and walked over to Tsunade. I believe this belongs to me now. He took the necklace from her and put it on. This feels strange. Why, you actually? Hey, I'm still lousy at betting, Tsunade chuckled as her body stopped shaking from the blood. Tsunade-sama, why your phobia? Shizune stuttered. I know Shizune, the Katsuyu Sennin replied, stood to her feet. So you've overcome it, have you? Kakukaku, I don't think I care much for facing 2 of the Sannin today, maybe next time, Tsunade, Jiraiya. Orochimaru dropped down beside his wounded subordinate and said, we're leaving. Yes, Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto managed to say before the two vanished into the ground. They're gone, Jiraiya sighed in relief as the 2 snakes disappeared a moment later. And I lost another bet, Tsunade chuckled. Well, you were always a bad gambler, the Gama Sennin responded as he approached them. Thanks for the help, Gamaken, he said to the large toad. Anytime, the battle toad said before disappearing in a column of smoke. We'll stop in town for tonight and set out for Konoha tomorrow, Jiraiya sighed from exhaustion. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.